He made it pretty apparent, I think, from the moment he took the job here that one of the things we wanted to address was getting tougher throughout the lineup, not just one or two bodies, but a number of players that can play a robust style, not necessarily just fight, but players that can play hard. And I think we accomplished a great deal of that today.
How important is it to get a defenseman like Komisarek on this team?
Well, we felt it was very important. I mean, he's a young man. We got younger today too. We didn't go after any players that were, in their mid-30s. We were talking about guys who were going to fit into this team for the long haul. We understand we got some time to work with to make our team into a contender. We wanted guys that could be here when we were a contender. So we wanted to make sure we were adding young players. Mike's a young man. He's not an old man. He's a guy that's just coming into the prime of his career. He's a high-end player. He plays a hard-nosed style of game, and he's got a lot of leadership qualities that we're looking to bring into this team. So he was an important part of this day.
You talked about trading Kubina. Reasoning behind that, and we have space to stay there.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's definitely a component. We freed up some more money to do some of the things we did today. It made it easier to sign Komisarek to a long-term deal. Kubina played pretty well here. People throw darts at him for certain parts of his game, but he put a lot of pucks in the net, and we're going to have to find some of those goals in the power play. But again, we felt bringing a younger defenseman back in that deal that plays the style that we want to play was important, and we do have a lot of cap space available to improve our team.
I was going to ask you, with the moves you've made, do you have a lot of room left? Is there still possible moves that you guys are looking at making between now and camp?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I wouldn't rule out more free agent signings if there's something that comes of value. I don't think we're going to reach on anything and tie our hands. But if there's something there that makes sense to us long term and again provides value to our team, then we would look to sign another free agent. We also have some depth now, particularly at the defense position, to make a deal. And if there's a deal that pops up, whether it's now or all the way up to the first day of camp and into the season, we're in a good position to make a move.
Are you still looking to move Cabernet?
We're never looking to move Cabernet. It's whether or not there's a deal there for Thomas that makes us a better team. There's a big difference between shopping somebody and willing to trade somebody. We're willing to trade anybody on our team right now that makes us better. If that means that Thomas is the person that's targeted, then we would do it, and that wouldn't be surprising to anybody because he's one of the best defensemen in this league, particularly in terms of a puck-moving defenseman. But we're not actively out calling teams to move Cabernet. Well, we've put an offer in. Whether or not it's something that gets done, we'll see. But at this point, at least as far as I know, Chris Neal's still a free agent.
Is there any word on Dustin sending that to you at all?
No, not at this point.
Team's going to have, at the roster you have right now, you're going to have some trouble putting pucks in the net. What are you going to do over the summer to address that?
Well, you know what? It's always easy to speculate about how hard it is to score, and generally you find out whether certain players that haven't been given an opportunity can score. I think you would have said last year's team would have had a very difficult time scoring as well, and I wouldn't say we were filling the net on a regular basis, but when certain players got opportunity, they were able to put the puck in the net. And if we have to start the season with the players that we have right now, I'm sure we'll be competitive enough, and some of these guys will surprise all of us.
Would you almost say that if you guys could have kept the puck out of your own net a little better last year, the amount of goals you scored may have been enough to make this a much better team?
I think that'd be easy to say. I mean, our goals against wasn't good enough. Our penalty kill was not good enough, which I think has helped today. I think our goaltending will be much improved with a healthy Vesa Toskala. You're right. I mean, if we did play better defensively and kept more pucks out of the net, I think we would have made the playoffs.
Tell us a little bit about Exelby and Stewart.
Well, Exelby, I think people here will really enjoy how he plays. Again, you're not going to get a great deal of offense out of him. You are going to get a very willing player, a very good shot blocker, one of the leaders on his team in hits every year, and his hits are generally quite violent. I mean, he's a guy that can put up a big hit, which can be a major momentum changer for his team. We tried to trade for him last year. We were very close to trading for him during the course of the season, and I think that's one of the reasons why this came about, where we kind of were going back and forth for months about him, and it just worked out today for both teams.
And Stewart?
Stewart is a good, he's a good third, fourth line guy. He played in the league last year. He didn't play all 82 games, but he did play fairly regular. He had 30 some odd games last year. He's going to be given a good opportunity to make our team. We put him on, I would term him as a depth player. If he comes to camp prepared, we'll be given every opportunity to make our team. I wouldn't say he's a lock, but he's a player that I think can play in this league, and we'll see how he does when he gets here in September.
And again, all North American players, no accident there, I'm sure.
Well, you know what? No accidents. Probably, I wouldn't say it was a coincidence, but again, thinking that we wouldn't sign or go after a European player isn't true. I would expect that we'll have discussions on some players that are still out there that are European-born players. With that said, what we were targeting today, it just so happens that most of the guys that play that style are from North America, and I think they're going to fit well in blue and white.
Were there any surprises league-wide? Did you notice any trends, or James more conservative you thought, or surprised at some of the numbers and the terms?
I think you're surprised every year, and probably shouldn't be, but there were some big deals. Every team's different. You have to look at where you are in your cycle, what your market is demanding, and you have to make your own decisions on what you want to do and how you tackle that. From our standpoint, we had a strategy. We're sticking to it, and we're going to try to build this so we don't make the playoffs for 1 year, but try to make them for 5, 6, 7 years in a row, and that's going to be a methodical process.
What was Berkey today?
Brian was on his way to try to get some more information from the Swedish goaltender, so we were in contact all day, and hopefully we can push a little harder to try to get Jonas here in Toronto.
So he went to Sweden, did he?
Yes, yeah, he was over there last night, and then so he was available to me all day today.
You mentioned that plan. Was Mike Komisarek at the top of your free agent pecking order?
Well, there's in terms of free agency, there's really no top. You got to have a list of players that you want, and you call all of them, and you see what it's going to take to try to get one or two signed. If you're waiting on one guy and just working on one player, you're not going to be very successful. Very few guys sign in the first 10 minutes, although today I was surprised at it. It's amazing to me how you can do it kind of a deal in 7 or 8 or 10 minutes, but it happens. Mostly it doesn't. You target the guys you want, you let them know your interest, and then you whittle it down as the day goes along.
Obviously, there's going to be other things that you guys are going to do over this summer, but what do you expect this team to look like in the fall?
Well, again, it is pretty early. I could tell you what it's going to look like, and then you can come back and tell me that I didn't do anything I told you we were going to do. So, one thing we were committed to doing is being more competitive. When I say that, I mean a hard-working team that's going to push the other teams hard every single night, particularly playing in this building. I think we've taken care of that. We are going to be better defensively. Our goals against is going to be down. Our penalty killing is going to be better. We're going to be harder to play against on our own end. Now, do we need to add some pieces up front? That's going to be a challenge for us between now and camp, and we're going to work to do that. But if we can't do it, we're going to wait for the right deal. There's not going to be a situation where we're going to sign players for multi-year deals or trade for players just to fill the roster. If they're not going to help us win long term, then we're prepared to sit and wait until we find players that can.